Alright, welcome to your calisthenics gymnastics-based ring workout. For those of you that have purchased yourself a set of rings over on my website, movelikewatercollective.com.au, or maybe you're using like a set of TRX straps or something that you already have, I'm going to be taking you through about 6 movements. That is a full body strength routine and will get your heart rate up using this amazing tool, the gymnastics rings. So as you may or may not know, I sell these over on my website. They're wooden gymnastics rings with a 4.5 meter long buckle strap that's really easy to adjust and can be literally taken anywhere with you. I take these guys traveling with me all the time, and they are honestly one of the best ways to build strength, to improve your calisthenics practice, but also work on your skills practice. They're gonna open your shoulders, they're gonna lengthen your spine, and they'll give you the ability to move 3-dimensionally with your body. So as always, let's start off with a little bit of a warm-up. I'll take you through this in real time, meaning that of course you can pause, you can lengthen the practice, shorten the practice, however you want to do that, and of course go through as many rounds as you like. I always recommend 3 rounds as a beginner, 4+ rounds if you are working on skills. This will be a beginner-friendly workout if you have just got a set of rings, and of course anything can be stacked to work in with your skill level. As always, if you are new to this channel, I really encourage, if you do get something out of this, let me know. Give it a like, make sure you subscribe, it helps me to help you. And go check out my new website, Move Like Water Collective. So I have 4 online courses kicking off next year from January 2026. Number 1 being the Reset. It's an autonomic nervous system online coaching program designed to get you help to understand your body from the inside out through the lens of the nervous system. I'll have an offer, my foot, knee and hip health course, which again being self-guided. You just do this in your own pace, in your own time, to not only improve the quality of your feet, but strengthen your knees, your hips and your spine. And I've also got on offer my new fascia and joint flow course. I am so excited about this one. It has been something I have been really diving into the last 8 months or so, and my body has significantly changed from it, as is my nervous system and how it all functions and feels. So that is all over on my website, Move Like Water Collective. And whilst you're there, check out my signature course, being Shift Yourself Talk. This is a 3-month immersion for any women who really want to shift the way that we see our bodies and talk to ourselves. This is a journey into our nervous system, into rewiring our brain, and really letting go of any tension, right, and rigidity that is developed in our bodies, to close our bodies and move into protection mode, to really unlock all that, to shift our self-talk for good, and really learn the skills and the tools of when we can notice our nervous system is being bumped, when we move into judgment, criticism, and also perfectionism, and do something about it to bring ourselves back to safety, meaning that's where we start to rewire our brain. There's only 11 spaces available for that one, and that's available now over on my website. But for now, let's get it started with our gym workout. As always, let's get into a bit of a warm-up. I'm just going to share some brief things here. If you need to do longer, then please go longer. Firstly, we're going to come down to the floor, getting into our wrists and our spine, so fingers spread nice and wide. And we're just thinking here of going straight into some barrel rolls. So really rolling through our spine, getting our elbows, our shoulders and our wrists and our scapula and thoracic nice and warm. This is pretty stock standard for anything that I do, because we don't know how our bodies arrived until we get in our bodies. So let's change direction. So starting to get some feedback and communication from your body right now as to how it has arrived today. We'll take 2 more circles here. Alright, we're leaning into the left hand. We're going to take an inhale, lift the right. As you exhale, we're going to thread it under. I'm just going to do 3 of these today, but if you need more, go more. Beautiful. Taking a moment here, opening the back of the shoulder. And then we'll move that, of course, to the other side. So taking an inhale, lift. Exhale, thread it under. Beautiful. So from here, it's going to get into our hips. We're going to bring the knees nice and wide. Find your child's pose. Put the spine in flexion and step the right foot outside the right hand, coming into some sort of a lunge. I'll get you guys to move it around a little bit here. So opening the hamstrings and opening the hip flexors. And again, you're going to get some feedback from your body as to how it has arrived. So just take your time as you're moving through these movements. We'll slowly move to the other side. So again, just finding a brief child's pose, spine in flexion, push into the hands, straight arms, step the left foot outside, and once again, just moving forward and backward. Keep in mind today that with our rings workout, there's many levels or layers. I'll always offer the first layer, and over time, when we feel like we get a little bit more familiar with the first layer, then you can start to add more layers on top of that. Like anything, it's always about crawling before we walk. We're going to step back to a downward facing dog and just pedal the feet out a little bit here, opening the hamstrings. So push into the hands, let the head become nice and heavy. Bring the feet wide. We're going to drop back to a squat position and then bring it back to a downward facing dog. We'll do that 4 more times. So squat position, and again, downward facing dog. Just modify this any way, shape or form you need. Last one here, and then from our squat position, just taking a few moments. If there's any movements you need to do here to open the feet, place the hands onto the ground, take any form of twist, go right ahead. If not, we're going to lift up the hips and take a really slow roll up to stand. So we're going to start off with a passive ring hold. This is for anybody that's new to holding onto the rings, and you may like to invest in a bit of chalk or gym chalk. It can be super, super helpful while your hands are getting strong. As we come into our passive ring hold, I'm directly underneath the rig. If your shoulders feel quite tight, walk yourself back a bit, right? That will start to open the shoulders. Our shoulders get tight because we use so much devices. We sit in chairs, and of course we go into stress and tension, which really creates rigidity and calcification around the fascia of the shoulders, moving towards things such as frozen shoulder, where we feel really locked up. So you're just finding where you need to be, and we're coming into a passive hang. Now just to start, you'll see that my feet are onto the floor. We want to work towards having the feet off and just elongating the spine. Right, we're working towards about 15 to 20 seconds if you're new, up to 30 seconds. For those of you that are really have tried your hanging or you're familiar, you're going to be working towards 2 minutes daily. All right, and then again, I'm going to leave that up to you to take your version of a hang. We're going to step out and forward and just rotate through the spine. So just doing some spinal movement here. So what I'm moving my spine here, what I'm also thinking about doing is keeping the knees nice and soft, and I'm rotating through the torso, really letting the arms be really nice and soft. I include a lot of this work in my fascia and joint flow course. And I also do have a 15-minute guided follow-along fascia release video that includes this kind of rotational work. So feel free to jump on that, and I'll include a little link down in the notes for this one. All right, we're going to go one more hang before we go into our workout. If you'd like to do any more hanging or any more movements for your workout, then please go right ahead. I'm going to move into a passive to active hang this time, and I'm going to show you from the reverse direction so you can see what my scapula is doing. All right, I'll show you from the front. When I move into passive to active, you can do this with the feet on the ground. You'll see how I'm pulling my lats down. It's not a bent elbow movement. This is straight arm scapular strength. So I'm squeezing the lats down, and I'm keeping my torso in one line. Scapula, and what's happening here. So if that feels okay, feet off the ground or feet on the ground, you're working towards a passive to active hang, right? Shoulders up to the ears, and the shoulders draw away from the ears. I'm squeezing the lats down and the scapula together. It is a straight arm movement, And it's quite challenging as we start to warm up through the lats to start to open the shoulders. As I said, I'm going to take you through in real time. If you need to add or take away rounds, the good thing about following along in the video is you can pause and rest as much and often as you need to. Alrighty, I like to bring the buckle up. Alright, and what we're going to do firstly is just get into our legs. We're going to hold onto the rings, right, and we're just going to work into some ring-based squats here. So as I keep it pretty simple onto the rings, I won't be going into too many gymnastic style movements into this particular workout, but I will be offering a more advanced ring-based workout, which will have more of those gymnastics, more calisthenics or more skill-based movements in the video. Now, if this is feeling good, right, you're welcome to add in a little knee lift here over to opposite elbow. So squat and then lift. Cool? So squat and then lift. Now we're going for another 30 seconds. Each movement's going to be 1 minute. So you're working through here, nice and stable. This is version number 1. So this is round number 1. I'll be offering round number 2 and round number 3, but you're always welcome to come back to this round. 15 seconds to go. So starting to get a little bit of heat into the legs, working into the tripod of the foot, so making sure our knees don't collapse inwards. All right, 3, 2, and 1. Take a short breather. Work with keeping the rings at the same height until we need to change them. So when we're working into this one, right, our first version is just holding onto the rings and just allowing the leg to go back into some sort of a lunge. And then we're going to bring the knee up and work through balance, right? As you're working through this one, we're going 30 seconds on one side and 30 seconds on the other. The rings provide a really nice bit of support here as you're working into the movement, all right? And as I said in rounds 2 and 3, this moves into a single leg movement where the rings become really helpful to work into a dragon squat. But for now, just get the legs moving, stepping back into some sort of a lunge, really focusing on the tripod of the foot and drawing the knee up and in, trying to work on compression. All right, we change sides. So back into the lunge and draw up into compression. So almost really thinking about rounding your spine because you're going to need that when we come into some of our other movements on the rings. So trying to get some nice bit of heat happening into the legs here. Good, 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Next movement is setting up our ring row. When we're working through our ring row, all right, we've got heaps of options here, right? The further away I am from the rig, the easier it's going to be. And it's going to become harder the closer I walk my feet. We're looking on straight arms, shoulders away from the ears, scapula drawing down and together. Squeeze the glutes, but make sure we're not doing this with the spine. From here, I have an overhand grip. I turn the rings 90 degrees and pull the hands to the side of my chest and elbows back, squeezing the scapula. All right, we go down and pull in. Now, once again, we've got 1 minute here, all right, which is quite a solid time for your ring rows, right? Again, completely up to you what you do with your time, right? And if it gets too much, just walk your feet away from the rings. Or if you want a little bit more, you can come underneath. You'll see how my knees are bent and I'm still squeezing my glutes and I'm squeezing the scapula together. I'm not rushing the movement and all the time I'm always bringing the rings to the side of my chest. All right, got about 15 seconds left to go. So nice and still here, we're trying to really reshape the area around our posterior chain, our lats and our scapula, to really bring everything back in this very forward world that we're in. Take 2 more reps here. Definitely feeling those this morning, and rest. Next one, we start to move into our plank. I'm going to lower the rings to just off the floor. All right, again, I've got the long straps for you guys so that you have the opportunity to do this, which is quite helpful. So just take your time to make sure that they're even. Make sure the buckles are away from the rings. All right, we're now going to practice exactly what I said before. So think about this compression feeling. So hands into the rings, pull the pubic bone in and up, and this is where we start, right? You're just getting a feeling for that hollow body shape. Now, if that feels good, we're going to start to walk the knees back and do the same thing. So as you're working into this one, right, again, what we're looking for is this slight rounding of the spine, and then out. So rounding of the spine and then out. This is where we start. If that feels okay, you can bring your knees back further and you can shift forward and find your plank position. You'll notice I'm absolutely not collapsing into the lower back and I'm pressing into those rings trying to hold. All right, if you want to make this harder, we lift up, protracted plank position and push away. Now at any moment you can drop your knees down and pause. Right, once again we're working up to 1 minute. So pushing through here, you are going to be sweating really quickly. We've got about 20 seconds to go. So remember those options, exactly what I said, to play around with this, and then relax, tuck the tail, protract, wrists and shoulders stacked, 5 more seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wow, you should be most definitely warm after that. So well done. We're going to move into our next one straight away after that, which is of course our push-up. All right, we're doing our pull, we're going to do our push. It's a really important movement. I'm going to show the first one on the floor and then I'll show you how to do it on the rings. So it's really important we have our push-up position feeling good. Again, we want to make sure we have our tail tucked under. Elbows go backwards, not out to the side, so the upper trap doesn't get engaged. All right, so from here, again, if you're new to your push-ups, what I want you guys to think about is bring your knees in, elbows back, and bring your forehead to the ground. All right, definitely not using the rings for this one. I want you to get really good at nailing your push-up first. If they feel good, right, so we've got 40 seconds more to work, you're gonna bring your knees back, modified plank position, elbows back, making sure that your tailbone is tucked under the whole time. So I'm squeezing my pubic bone and my belly button together, all right? If you have that, right, you can then start to move to your toes, which is going to be needed and necessary when you're on the rings. But again, it's so important to get those other ones right first. Before you come into your full push-up, you'll notice that I keep my pubic bone drawing in and up the whole time. I'm not collapsing into my lower back and working through. That is the minute. Well done, guys. That was so good. We've got one more in the sequence to work with our rings. The rings are going to stay low, okay? And this is where we're going to work with our hamstrings. Actually, there will be one more after this. All right, so when we're coming to this one, again, when we're working our hamstrings, we've got to remember that we do sit in chairs and they can get really tight and cranky. So first one is we're going to stay on here on our back and you're just going to extend the ring out and pull back. You'll see you can see my hamstring squeezing here. Right, so we've got 1 minute here, right? And what I'm actively doing is I'm relaxing to go out, but I'm pushing down into the ring to pull back towards my glute, right? And we're just going one side for 30 seconds and then the other. Now this sometimes will feel more than enough. So we're trying to really flex the muscle of the hamstring here, right? All right, and we'll change sides. So we extend, you can relax into the extender, push the ring down and pull into your glute. Right, the more you push down with that ring and pull into the glute, you're really squeezing the hamstring here, really turning on your core. All right, we have 15 seconds to go, so maybe 2 more reps here. And as I said, we'll do one more in the sequence with the rings. And relax. Woo, well done. Give your knees a bit of a squeeze and a hug here. This is more of an advanced movement or a challenging one onto the rings, hence why I have the rings down to a place where I can actually feel the ground under my feet here, okay? And what we're looking to do here is create a top support position. So option 1 is you're just going to point the toe and all right, this one is a little bit more of our advanced, more gymnastic style. We're going into a top support on the rings. Now, this is a really cool one if you're looking to develop your hollow body shape for handstand, but also really great straight arm strength. Now, I have the rings quite low, almost touching the hip bone, so that when I push away, I can have straight arms, but keep my feet on the floor. If you're a beginner to this, I don't want you taking your feet off the floor. I want you to get used to pushing away straight arms. And what you're going to think about doing is pointing the toes, squeezing the quads, keeping the rings in nice and close to you. The arms stay straight the whole time, and we're going to point, squeeze, and hold. Think about pushing those rings away and hollowing the body out. 3, 2, 1, relax. All right, and we'll go again. As I said, I will give you some layers in the second and third round. Come up. We want to tuck the tailbone under, hollow body hold. Extend the opposite leg forward, point the toe, squeeze the quad. I'm just pushing the rings away. I'm not letting that left toe leave the ground just yet. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. So what we're trying to look for here is this hollow body shape or a handstand where my tailbone tucks under. I have a really nice flat lower back, and it's actually our handstand line. Well done. That is one round done. We're going to get going into rounds 2 and 3. All right, rings should be set up, good to go. So we're into our legs now. Now, again, completely up to you. If you want to stay with a slow weighted squat, you're welcome. We've got a minute. Or you can add in a light jump with a pause at the bottom. So we can start to add a little bit more fire to the legs. Now the rings are really cool because they help you get lower in your squat. So if the ankle mobility is not there yet, and the hip mobility, the rings actually help you lean back into the squat, right? And if you're doing the jump, your legs are gonna get nice and toasty. And again, I'm gonna pause for a moment. My legs are quite cooked. I'm also fasting at the moment too, so I don't want to expend too much energy. So as we're working through this, just taking our time, we've got about 15 seconds left to go. Find a stretch in the spine, make sure the knees are not collapsing inwards. Moving into your squat for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fantastic. We've got about 15 seconds, 20 seconds rest. Our next one that we're moving into is our single leg work, right? Now, as we're working through this one, what I'm looking to do is tuck the leg behind. It's called a dragon squat, but we're using our rings to get flexion in the spine. So balancing the right foot, left leg goes behind, squeeze the thighs together, and then come up. Once again, I'm using the rings to help get depth here. So our single leg squatting is so important because that's exactly how we fall. So I'm using the rings to like help my body land into the squat, to play around with the balance, all right, and to work on getting that knee on the outside of the calf. All right, so you guys keep going in the rings. So what we're looking for here is a dragon squat. So it's not a curtsy. My inner thighs are squeezing together because one day that back leg comes all the way in and through and around. It's a really nice squat for your hip rotation. You guys have 10 more seconds. 9, 8, especially if you sit in chairs. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Those legs should be nice and toasty by now. All right, we're going into our ring rows, all right, with option, of course, to go into a single ring row. So we did our ring rows with both hands on the rings. I'm now going to offer you a different version. Always option to go back to that first version. If you're going singles, we have 30 seconds each side. Hold on with the right, open the left. We turn and twist. It's approximately 5 each side. They're nice and slow. As I pull in, my right elbow stays right by the side of the waist. Left hand reaches up, and I twist across the body, twisting the fascia and really compressing the right side of the waist down. I'm really using my lats here. We're going to go one more on this side, and then we've got 5 on the other. Definitely feeling those. All right. Moving to the other side again. This movement pattern, this movement workout is not rushed. We're not doing it for time or speed. Pure strength work. That will absolutely get your heart rate up by moving slow. Now you can see, as I pull my elbow in, I'm drawing my scapula together. So in, reach, and back down. We have one more to go. Definitely feeling those ones. All right, woo. Adjust your rings. We come down for our plank position. All right, so as you bring the rings down, make sure they're even, of course. All right, so whenever you're adjusting the rings, it's a good time to take some rest. All right, and we want to, again, make sure we have our hollow body shape. So remember, we draw the pubic bone and the sternum together. All right, coming into our plank position, we have accumulation of 1 minute. Going in 3, 2, 1. Remember, let's start here. That feels good. Pop up for a little bit. Hold, make sure you're not doing this at all through your lower back. Push the rings away, straight up, scapular strength. As in your scapula is spread apart and you breathe through the nose and out through the nose. Remember, at any time if you need to come down, you can come down and just hold here. Really pushing away, right? So working in protraction. If you need to take a rest, pull back. It's a long time to be into this one, all right? We've got 25 seconds to go. So in, hold, stay, breathe. In the next round, I'll give you a variation if you like.
Belly button, pubic bone, sternum pulling away from the floor. Push the rings away. My wrists are directly under my shoulders. Here we've got 10. And well done. Relax. Shake it out. From that we go straight into our push-ups. Again, if you need more rest, take it. Please remember any of those floor versions were fine. If you are able to get out 5 push-ups on your toes, then we can progress to this version here. But you can also do this on your knees. Alright, so again, you're very welcome to give it a go. We want to tuck the tailbone under. And what we're doing is the elbows go, we're not going directly out to the side, they're pulling back, so we're using our lats. We're dropping down into a push-up and then bring the rings together to touch. Alright, elbows go back, squeeze into the lats and then pushing away. Now we've got 1 minute. Your version of push-ups here. Again, the knee version is a nice one to try before, of course, going into your toes. I would highly recommend, again, making sure that these feel safe and you can get out 5 up to 8 of these before progressing to your toes, which is where we're going in the next round. All right, we've got about 15 seconds left. You'll notice I'm staying in full protraction the whole time. So I'm rounding my spine, elbows back. 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, well done. We turn it over. So everything is this like, we're just always looking for balance. Everything we do, we are constantly looking for balance, all right? So our bodies, again, get very shaped by the world we live in, which brings us forward. What happens is the collagen builds up and that creates what we call these adhesions, all right? And the adhesions just pull us all together and we end up all shriveled, and that's called aging. So our job is to really make sure with our environment, we simply balance it out with our movement. Okay, remember, option to stay here onto the ground, or we're gonna push in and lift up the hips. Now, this might be more than enough. If you want more, you're going to push one away and draw it back in. All right, I'm gonna alternate. You can go 5 each side if you want. We're here for about 45 more seconds. So you're working through here. Got a couple of options. If it feels too much, bring your bum a little bit closer to the rig like this, and that will be easier from here. Right, if you want more difficulty, move yourself away from the rig. Now this is a really challenging movement. All right, so just do your best with it. We've got about 15 seconds left to go. I'm pushing down with the ring. I'm squeezing my bum. I'm going 1 more each side. Oh my goodness, and relax. Wow. Please remember your options for that one. That is a really difficult one, especially if you happen to sit in chairs. We're going to bring ourselves up to our top support position. All right, again, adjusting your rings as your rest. All right. This time again, I'm going to keep them at hip height, and I'm going to show you an option to bring your feet off the floor. I recommend, if you're learning this one, to have somebody next to you and hold the rings into your hips so they don't splay open. Keep your feet low to the ground so that if you do lose contact with the rings, your feet can go back down to the ground. All right, moving into top support. This is one of those movements that is quite challenging, so we're not here for 1 minute, we're just here for about 30 seconds, not even that. All right, so it's straight arm scapular strength, hollow out. All right, from here, we want to point 1 toe, squeeze the quad, never jump into this movement. Keep the rings on your body, do not let them flare out, they are glued to your body. From here, push away, and then let the other toe join, hold. Pointing the toes, squeezing the quads, your rings touch your body the whole time. Eyes forward, not down, breathe. 10. Keep the rings on your body. 3, 2, 1. 2 rounds down, 1 to go. Good job. All right, we move into our final rounds. Again, another minute worth of work, but it doesn't have to be a minute. Completely up to you. I'll add in a little bit more spice on this round if you would like to go with that. If not, just balance it back to layers 2 or layers 1. All right, when we're working into our squats this time, what you can move between is like a narrow squat to a wide squat. So when you're jumping, right, what we're looking for is this narrow squat. We want to make sure the knees are over the ankles, not rolling inwards. All right, that's not the nature of the joint. Again, purely optional, your legs will cook. We're going to go in 3, 2, and 1. Again, I'm using the rings. I'm not necessarily like doing this super fast. You'll see that I'm holding a little bit of tension, and I'm using the rings to really play around with my depth. Now this is starting to burn already. You can also step it in and step it out. I love using the rings in squatting because it really opens the hips. It gives you the ability to really round your spine and come into that space and also work on your hip mobility. All right, we have 20 seconds to go, or just over. Now again, taking the options that work for you. As I said, I'm in the middle of a fast at the moment, so moving fast for me and kind of pushing it is absolutely not where I want to be, but you take this to any level that you would like. 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That was awesome. All right, short rest. Our next one, we go into our single leg squatting. Now, when we're working towards this one, all right, essentially what we're working to in a more advanced workout is using these to come towards our pistol squat, our one-legged squatting, all right? But we are, of course, this is more beginner friendly, so we're trying to get our dragon squat. But this time, we want to lift the foot off the ground. So we're going to alternate legs, going in 3, 2, 1. Leg behind, then lift the foot off the ground. Balance back up, and then step behind, and can you keep the foot up? And we start to work into what's called our dragon squat, and I love this because we get this internal and external hip mobility, right? The hip is a ball and socket joint, and we need to remind it to move that way. All right, stay with me. I know these burn your glutes. Really great if you've ever been told by the physio to strengthen your glute med. You're very welcome. All right, in time we start to get that leg around and we'll work on extending the leg, but it's important if you're practicing that version. Look, that took me nearly 5 years to get to here. You make sure the knee is on the outside of the calf. Nearly there, guys. 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. As I said, the rings stay where they are. So I've done this in the process. You don't have to keep adjusting the rings. All right, we've got our ring rows. I'm not teaching chin-ups or pull-ups in this version or the beginner-friendly one. It will be something you can go to in a more advanced one. As I said, crawl before we walk, get used to it. I'm going to go into the single ring row that we did before. Again, if you want to make this harder, you bring your feet underneath the rig. Where there's an overhand grip, I have my right shoulder rolling in, and we're going to turn, twist, and reach, and then bring it back down. So it's 30 seconds each side, or approximately 5 on the right and 5 on the left. I'm really thinking about like drawing my scapula together here. We're really trying to open the body here, like, and especially with this beautiful twist. It's such a nice one for the body, especially if we're using devices. Last one here. Woo. All right, we can come into the other side. All right, so I'm in a plank position, my glutes are squeezed, my legs extend, I'm not hanging off the joint. I open to the right, left elbow in, I'm pulling the elbow right down and I'm drawing in. So quite a fair bit of work in this one. Again, if it gets too much, walk your feet back away from the rig. 3, oh my goodness, my legs are cooking. 4, last one, and 5. Great job, my goodness. All right, we bring the rings down. We've got our plank position. Again, this is purely optional what I'm about to go into. All right, your heart rate should be up a little bit. Mine definitely is. As I said, we have this concept that we need to move fast all the time to get something out of it. This is why I love the rings. I love calisthenics because it teaches you that when you move slow, you actually sweat more. All right, because we're really getting into our body. It's like getting on a treadmill on your phone. You're completely out of your body and you're in your device, which means your body is not going to benefit from that. So when we're in our calisthenics and using the rings, you are 100% in your body, meaning that you are going to get the most out of your workout or your movement. I don't even like using the word workout, but you're going to get the most out of your movement. Okay, as mentioned, it's just purely optional. Remember, your options in your plank, we never want this to happen in plank. They will put pressure on your lower back, so pull the pubic bone and the sternum together. We have up to 1 minute here. Get a feel for it, push the rings away. If you'd like to come into plank, go for it. If you'd like an option, you're going to hover the right foot off and bring the right knee towards the right wrist. And in time, slowly back. Now I'm visualizing, I have a coffee on my lower back. So nothing is moving in my lower back. I'm taking my time. And I'm really working on keeping everything stable. I'm pushing those rings away, working on straight arm scapular strength with my core. All right, we're halfway or just over halfway. You're doing really well. Now, options, you can do it here as well. But again, take the option that works for you. Work onto any of those other layers that I've shared in the previous 2 rounds. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. My goodness. Woo. 2 more to go. All right. So as we're working into this one, we're going to go for our hamstrings. I struggle with these. These are really challenging. So just a reminder to make it easier, come closer, put your bum under the rig, right? And remember, option 1 is just sort of stay here and extend the leg out and pull it back in. All right, if you are coming with me, we can lift up. Now you might just want to hold here, that might be more than enough. Push the floor away, squeeze the glutes. One leg extends, pull back in, push into the foot. All right, so we're really trying to open the hip flexors here, squeeze the glutes. These are so challenging, but so important if we happen to sit in chairs. 20 seconds left. Five seconds. Oh my goodness. 4, 3, 2, and 1. That was amazing. All right, I actually missed the push-ups. We'll go into these now. And then we've got our top support. All right, it doesn't particularly matter if we've gone through it in a different organisation this time through. I need you to let go of that. So as we're working into this one, we're going to go into our push-ups. Remember, tuck the tailbone under. All right, we've got a minute. Option on the knees. This round, I'm going to offer onto the toes, but again, it's so important. If you do come into your toes, you're not letting the lower back do this at any point, all right? So know you can come back to here. My elbows are going back, my shoulders and traps away from the ears. All right, got another 30 seconds. As I said, if you want to try up here, you keep your core on in a plank position, slowly down, slowly up. Elbows back, traps disengage. 20 seconds. You'll notice I'm going nice and slow because the rings are moving the whole time, so really working through the stabilizers. Five seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. My goodness, I'm dripping. All right, we've got one more top support with the option to lift the knees. Okay, now if you can hold your top support, you can do this so that the rings are a bit higher, so that your feet can come off the ground, but again, it does take a little while for that to happen, so please don't rush this. This is really important that you don't rush coming into this movement. If you haven't got your top support yet with your feet on the ground, then don't move into taking your feet off the ground because you'll just fall backwards. It's important that the rings stay right nice and close to the side of the body. You push them into the body. If they go out here, you've lost it. All right, we're looking for a nice hollow body shape. So remember, we're in like this shape here. So again, pubic bone and sternum drawing together. All right, again, just a good practice for that, of course, is your hollow body hold, legs extended, and here. That's exactly the position we're looking for. There's no gap under the spine. All right, last movement. Make sure the buckles are away from your arms. They're just not comfortable. Okay, 15 to 20 seconds. Option to lift the knees. Is a bit more advanced version, and we're of course working towards our L sit, which will be in the more advanced workout. So push the rings away, rings on the side of the thighs. Lift up, hollow body, hold, eyes forward. If you've got that, lift up your knees and hold. Now you can alternate. I'm just going to go for 10 more seconds. All right, remember option, keep the feet on the floor. 3, 2, and 1. There is your rings program. I'm just going to share one stretch with you guys that I think is a really beneficial one. Of course, one is your hanging. Okay, so get on and hang and flush out the spine. But 2, grab the rings, hollow out your body like this. Come into a passive squat. All right, and from here, I'm really rounding my spine, okay? So this is a really nice one that the rings can stretch your spine and open your hips. If you're somebody who doesn't have your squat like this, as in the heels on the ground, like this, right? We want to practice that by using the rings. You might be here, that's okay. but this is a very natural position for our spine and for our hips. From that position, you're going to let go of the left ring, and we're going to drop down like this, and you're going to drop your left ear to left shoulder, and you're going to think about looking under your right armpit and getting a delicious stretch for the lats on the right hand side. We're just holding here, again, if beginner version, we're just going to hold for another 5. You're breathing in through the nose and out through the nose for 4, for 3, 2, and 1. All right, we grab the other ring, come back to your passive squat, take a moment, drop the right ring. Now we turn, so my right ear drops to my right shoulder, arm relaxed, I look under the left, I'm pushing open my right knee with my right shoulder, and I'm stretching all down the side of the fascia, right into an area that becomes really tight and compressed here. All right, and we're breathing into the space, in through the nose, and out through the nose. And 4 more nasal breaths here. In through the nose and out through the nose. You notice I'm moving around a bit because it feels really good. All right, both hands onto the ring like this. Chin to chest, push back, round your spine, and roll up. Now if you're somebody who struggles with tight shoulders, you can also do this. All right. So letting your hand come into the ring, walking forward, slowly letting your shoulder open to your degree. I'm not forcing it, I'm facing forward the whole time and allowing the body to be open. I'm not bending into my spine, I'm just finding where I can that the shoulder is open, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, walk it backwards. And we do the same. Our shoulders close so much because of our environment. So walking forward, again, even if it's here, that's perfect. We're trying to work on getting the shoulder open, but again, we have to remember that we're just letting our bodies do this in our own time. So don't force it, don't twist your body to make it happen. Everything forward, and just breathing in through the nose, out through the nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, walk it back. And there it is. I would love to hear how you go with this one. This is a really basic but strong strength-based movement that you can use anywhere. You just need something to hang it from, and I guarantee you there's 1,000 things out there if you look around. Once again, please make sure you are following my Instagram, Move Like Water Collective. Jump over and check out my website, movelikewatercollective.com.au. And if you are interested in any more movement programs, or you'd like to get some personal one-on-one coaching, I do online work, especially if you've got the rings. Feel free to reach out, but jump over to my website to do that. I would love to hear how you found this. Please comment below and keep an eye out for the advanced version that will be circulating on here from January. Thanks again, guys.